All right, everybody. So we have a verdict. I replayed it for you guys because I know I was shocked by how quick it came back. I and I missed a little bit of it, but I wanted to just go over a few things to answer some of the questions I saw in chat for some of you wondering out there what this means for Chloe Driver. Essentially, as I've explained previously, the guilty but mentally ill simply means that she is going to be allowed to receive treatment for her mental illness while she's doing her sentence. And unfortunately for her, in Georgia, she's facing up to life with no parole. They chose not to make this a death penalty case. So, as a result, the judge will be deciding basically whether or not she will have a chance for parole or whether or not she will serve life no parole. And then basically what happens after that, she will um, go to the state mental hospital for an evaluation. If they clear her, absolutely, Chris, you can drop that link. She will go to a mental hospital for a evaluation, and then they will determine what her treatment plan is. And then if she is needed to be, if it's determined in that evaluation that she needs to go to a hospital for a period of time or that she needs to be in a mental hospital for serving her sentence in order to treat her mental illness, she'll be in a mental hospital. But more likely than not, she probably will, at some point get into a prison. Although you heard the doctor say that her mental illness is so severe that she probably needs to that a prison or a jail may not be able to house her. But here's the thing: she'll never have a chance to ever get out. So she will either be in a hospital or she will be in a prison, but she will never walk the streets. That's basically what this means for her. That is now obviously with her type of mental illness, as you heard from the doctors, if she gets to a point where she's deemed normal, enough that she can take a medicine regimen, and then live normally, she'll live in prison. That'll be her reality, because what the jury determined is that she had an idea of right or wrong. Now her decision to do the crime was affected by mental illness, but it did not alleviate her ability to know right from wrong, which is kind of where I thought they were going to go with this, because it is confusing for the jury. And of course, the way the prosecution laid it out for the jury is the delusion to get to insanity. If you're on the delusion side, she literally had to think that the baby was attacking her or was something that was coming after her. Essentially, it's a delusion of self-defense is what it comes down to. But it could be that she thought Hannah was a space alien attacking her or something, but that something was happening. Now, the defense was laying their hat on that she was delusional, but that she thought what she was doing was right. As a result, she didn't know it was wrong. That's how they were getting to the right or wrong part. That she had no perception of the wrongness of her actions because she believed that Hannah was an extension of herself and that she had to kill herself, thereby she had to kill Hannah. And she just couldn't at that moment perceive that what she was doing was wrong, and she was in the middle of a delusion. Now, what the state was trying to show was while she was mentally ill and she had all these problems, the mental illness kept her attached to this guy, but that it was not fully mental illness that drove this. It was like, you know what, I'm angry at him. He's not leaving his wives. He's not um he's not willing to be with me. So the mentally ill part of her said, you know what, I'm going to kill her, right? I'm going to kill her, and then I'm going to kill myself, and I'll show you, and I'll take her away from you because I know you care about this baby. And that's kind of what the state's argument was, I believe, in a sense. But it was driven by mental illness. That decision comes out of the vein of, like, she's not normally thinking when she's doing it. But the question is, did she know what she was doing was wrong? Well, yeah, because she knew it was going to hurt this guy. She goes down and gets the knife. Again, I felt like a jury in that area, where they're located at down south, this was the best verdict for her. And I think in the end, her defense was trying to go for this because what they know and what will happen, from my research on guilty with mental illness, her attorneys will be able to stay involved. So they will be able to fight for her to go to a mental hospital and get treatment. They will be able to fight for her to be housed at a mental hospital, but she'll never ever have the option to walk the streets. The good news is I mean, she is going to get help. She's not going to just be, um, she's just not going to be able to go back. You know, they're not going to just warehouse her in a prison where she's just losing her mind and a danger to others in the prison and goes and does things. But at the same point, you know, for some people, they will be angry and outraged at the fact that, yes, the state is going to pay for all of her, you know, they're going to pay to keep her sane. They're going to pay to treat her mental illness. That's what she's getting. And then she's going to get free room and board at a mental hospital for the rest of her life. I mean, you know, I guess a debate many can have as to how they feel about that. But, you know, that's the off ramp they give, or they gave this jury, as opposed to saying, again, not guilty by reason of insanity. Some states would have encompassed the guilty but mentally ill, and that would have been the standard. If they reached that, then it's not guilty but mentally ill, or whatever. So, you know, it's you know, I think it's the right verdict. I think it's the verdict that if I was there, um, you know, I agree with you, Hannah B. I think that is interesting. I think that guy is, you know, uh, I think he's an interesting player. If you go also to there, I believe he's featured on the channel that I saw that was Z's channel that was dropped. The link was dropped a while back. You know, but I think that I think the jury got it right here. I think they did what made sense, because I'm not, like, I do definitely believe she was mentally ill 100%. Like the prosecutor trying to get to guilty but no mentally ill at all, I thought was just like ridiculous. I think but I think that's also why the prosecution wouldn't offer her that plea. You know, but I think that you know, I think her attorneys are probably going to tell her, like, Chloe, this is a good thing. This is a positive thing, because, you know, we're going to have the ability to get you into a mental hospital, and while you're never walk free. I mean, I just think that's the best thing. I mean, you know, when you're dealing with stuff like this, it's very clear that, you know, if she's found not guilty by reason of insanity, then it's like at some point she probably would be in the mental hospital her whole life anyways. So I think we got to the same spot, but I think right now we've protected the public. Now, my concern absolutely is Ben Yahoo uh, needs to be locked up too. I mean, look, that guy is the cause of all this. I mean, in terms of, he is going out finding traumatized women. He is then demanding they have children for him, and we're going to have more of this because there's already a baseline mental problem that's going on with them being involved with him because he's going after them. So I think that we've got to absolutely, you know, I don't know. I don't know what the state of Georgia can do, but they got to do something, because to me, um, we can't just let this guy run wild going out here and collecting up women and adding more. I mean, as you heard in the testimony by Spillers, he's got 2 ladies right now that have babies. Well, Aberdeenshire, listen, this wasn't a situation where they needed someone, in my opinion, where they could have gone after the father already. I mean, with everything that we know, but I think that that's going to be more of a federal case, because to me, what I see that is that's a trafficking case, because in my opinion, he's trafficking people, he's trafficking these women. But that's something that to me should have been offered up in this. You know, uh, potentially, truth be told, but I guess I don't think they were really. I think the state of Georgia was interested in going after her. I don't think they wanted to blur things. Um, but I think that. But I think that, my opinion, if the feds are watching, they need to go after this. They need to get the Spillers guy, and they need to plead him out, and they need to turn him against this guy, and they need to get him for trafficking these women. Because that's what he's doing. I mean, and we know because he's trafficking them, making them have babies, and mind controlling them, and beating them, and not letting them leave, and making them take loans out for their money to get money for them. I mean, this is like classic stuff that fits all of that. They need to indict him federally and take him off the streets. And then, of course, if he wants to put up a mental illness defense to that, then boom, fine, do that, and then he can put up the mental. We can deal with him, but he can't be just left to roam free. And if these prosecutors don't address that when they address the media, I mean, my God, but I don't think the state has really the ability to handle that. Because of the fact that he's doing this across state borders, so it's a federal situation. Um, that's what I think. That's what I think that they need to do there, in my opinion. So, we'll see what happens. I'm sure if that happens, hopefully it'll I don't know that it'll make national media, but hopefully somebody will report on it if the prophet gets arrested. Benjamin Eliyahu. I mean, what a name, huh? I mean, you take Brian Elliott Joyce and turn it into Benjamin Eliyahu. I mean, if that doesn't tell you about the guy's mental state, I mean, what else do we need here? But look, it's not a win situation here for anybody. We have a young 10-month or 13-month-old girl that lost her life because of these fools. We have this girl here who sounds like she was already struggling before she met him. She was on a path. Well, Melissa, look, they've gone after other cult leaders and religious leaders. Religion does not permit trafficking people, and that's what he's doing. And look, when you're going after, I think they can make a strong case that this guy ain't no religious leader. What he's doing, he's taking advantage of these federal programs to position himself as a religious leader, to go get money, to then take that to fund his trafficking business, and to try to go find more women. He's targeting women that are vulnerable, and that's got to be stopped. So, to me, if the prosecution thinks they've done their job here, they've done like a very small part of it. I mean, we took a victim off the street who definitely made some decisions on her own to do some extreme things. That's great. But we still have a guy out here who's going to find other Chloes, who we know has 2 women right now who are birthing babies for him. That this thing could repeat itself. I mean, if they think that it's just, Chloe's some bad seed, we have the first lady that already said she escaped. She had thoughts of doing crazy stuff too, but she at least had the wherewithal to not be as broken as Chloe was, to break down and not have that, that dark side that she had that allowed her to do something like that. You got these other 2 women. We don't know what he's willing to do with that. So I feel like, to me, they got to go after him. I mean, that's got to be top priority. Brian Ben Rosenruck. Yes, I have seen his Insta. It's concerning because I don't believe he's in custody. I think I had heard some people saying they thought he was in custody by the feds. I don't believe he is. I believe he's out and free, roaming around, running around. But he's got to be taken off the streets at this point. If you really want to get justice for the daughter, right? Because that's where this all begins. Without him doing what he's doing, this never happens. Without, in fact, I mean, she's not even going to be born, probably. So, Jody, I see you in there. Thank you for stopping in, and thank you. Yes, everyone. We hit 40,000. That's something I need to put an announcement up for, but I want to thank everybody in here that has hit that subscribe button, and we're going to put up a bigger announcement in a little bit. But yes, channel hit 40,000. I mean, huge accomplishment. We got to figure that some of you may not know, but this channel was started a year ago this month. It was started on the 6th of November. So to hit 40,000 subs in 1 year is unbelievable. And I really, really, really appreciate everybody who's hit the subscribe button, who watches the trials, who has helped build this thing. Because, like I said, the goal here is to try to bring the justice system and watch the justice system and watch cases like these and watch things like these, add our input, have a voice, and show everybody how it works. So I like I said, that's the goal. And of course, we were supposed to have who I call the Oracle. My father was supposed to be deeply involved as well. But he passed away in February before he could really make any appearances. Although he had his own issues and things that contributed to that. But we continued it on. We have moved the dial. So 40,000 in 1 year is just amazing, beyond anything I ever expected. So I really appreciate everybody who continues to watch. Just watching any video that comes out helps. Hitting the like button helps. So anytime you do that, much appreciated. And all the members, I think we have, I believe 13, 14 members. Amazing. I love it. You guys are help make this thing keep going, help keep the lights on. Yeah, well, like I said, you guys are going to hear a lot more about my dad. My dad was he was a special guy. He had his own demons, but he also was a extremely well accomplished criminal defense attorney, which is why I got interested in the law and why I was exposed to the law from infancy. And you guys are going to be hearing more on that story as we progress here. I've got things in the works that are going to be coming out, and we'll be, of course, talking about it on the channel. I'll be talking about him on the channel. I want to give you guys more background into him because it's an extremely interesting story, but I've also got some things that are being produced that we will let come out and then talk about it. So it's going to be great. Absolutely, Melissa. Look, hey, the membership, I appreciate it. I understand it. Don't feel like you have to. Come. Hey, but if you are able to do that, it's very much appreciated, and I very much appreciate that. So the next trial, listen, I keep my eyes. One thing I've developed over the years is a pipeline of various local, obviously we know Law and Crime, Core TV. So I'm keeping my eyes open on the next trial. As of today, I'm not certain, but I also know that we're going to be winding down to a slower time. So right now, I think what I'm going to do is it inspired me to go back and listen to the at least in the meantime, I like to go back to older trials. Some I've covered, some not, but in this case, it inspired me to want to go back and re-listen to the Carly Gregg trial. So I'm going to be putting that out. I like to do that, and I'll re-put them up or rebroadcast them. Some people get confused and they're like, "Hey, this happened already." Yes, sometimes you will see that. So we'll probably be broadcasting some of that trial. I was doing the first verdict. The first video I ever did was the Adelson case. So I was redoing that trial because I never got to cover it. So I think I've got verdict day to do on that. So we got some things going on in the off season if there isn't a trial coming through the pipeline. But today is Wednesday. Normally we'll see some trials drop. I've got to go out and look. And we're definitely be covering that, Melissa, for Leilani Simon. We will cover that and see what her sentence turns out to be. Although I believe she's going to get life. But don't worry, there will always be something going on. And then we've got the On the Record podcast for Jody Bolt, my co-host on that. It will be on Saturday. We will be talking about this case, doing a deep dive on it on Saturday morning. Tonight, the Ty Tucker, I have a special on that many of you have been asking about the status of Ty Tucker. Jody and I will be talking to you about that. I've got his last hearing. I've actually got his hearing. I've got the hearing. We're going to play that. We're going to talk about his case. We're going to talk about what he's doing, what's going on. We're going to talk about the plea negotiations that are going on. And we believe this case will be resolved by the end of the month, and that will be a huge thing. And then, of course, you're going to get to hear from Ty Tucker himself, I'm sure, when he gets out. Myself and others will, of course, hear from him. But we will bring him on, as you know, he's talked to us before from the jail, so we'll be talking to him and doing that. But there's always going to be trials going on, and we will cover multiple trials. As you guys know, I will cover 2, 3, 4 trials at a time. If I have invested in the ability to do that. It's kind of crazy when it gets going, but we're going to try to do that. And of course, the Ibarra trial right now is wrapping up. They're in closing arguments over there, so I will redirect this stream over to Ibarra automatically, or of course, there's a link up at the top, so you can just click and port yourself over there if you want to go watch the closings, because that's what they're about to do over there. So, yes, the defense. Now, yeah, truth be told, the defense rest is someone's name. That is the name of a great channel out of Australia. Go check her out. She's a rising channel, over 500 subs. She just hit 500 subscribers. Go help her out, get to 1,000. I hope I can get maybe 500 of my 40,000 to get over there to help her get up there, because she handles a lot of stuff over in Australia. She covers Australian law. She covers American law. She does a great job. So, Jody, drop your link, please, if you can, to your channel to help people get over there and maybe get a subscription. Check her out. She's got great content over there. Does great stuff. We've collaborated on a lot of Ty Tucker stuff and quite a few things. So she's like I said, not. I don't know how YouTube does all their stuff, but she's over in Australia, so I think there's kind of a deviation. But get over there and help her out and check out her stuff. She offers great opinions and great things. Remember, we're all qualified to be jurors, right? Because jurors are us. So, and again, that's why people have asked times who don't like my opinion, well, how are you qualified? Well, I'm qualified because I'm a citizen, and I'm qualified because I served on jurors, and I'm just a juror. But my life experience is a bit unique because I have, believe it or not, and again, this is a history that many of you may not know about me, but my dad, as I mentioned, was a well-renowned attorney. He also was a criminal defendant in a very high-profile case, and I know what it's like to go through a family member. I know what it's like. My dad served prison time. I know what it's like to see your parent convicted in a federal courtroom. I know what it's like to go visit your parent at a prison. I also know what it's like to watch him come back out and restart his life and watch that process as a felon, restart your life. I know what it's like to watch him as he then restarted things and fought to try to get his law license back. He then became a criminal law consultant where he consulted on cases all up and down the Eastern Seaboard. I also helped him as he began helping people, pro se defendants, pro se litigants, as he helped them fight the system. The local system here in the town we were in, as clients came to him wanting help, and he helped them get to attorneys and then would help them and give his expertise because he was one of the most sought after attorneys when he was an attorney. Unfortunately, my dad, had problems. He had a drug addiction, and that took him down. I've watched that personally through my entire life. I tried to extricate him from that. I watched him as he went through in fact, I was his paralegal when everybody else abandoned him because he was charged with unlicensed practice of law because he was helping people with 13, 14 different defendants. And we went and challenged that case, had a 3-day trial, and took that case, appealed it to the Supreme Court because it was a landmark decision in West Virginia for the prosecution. So I've been around it. I have a unique experience. That's formulated why I didn't necessarily go down the path of being a lawyer, even though that's what I thought I was going to do at one point. I went into the financial industry and went that route, but then found my way back out and said, you know what, I wanted to get my dad and I watched, I still continued watching cases. I served on a jury. And I said, you know what, the idea was to try to get my dad's story out to people, let him talk to people, because he's an extremely interesting guy who, the local coffee shop here was his place. You could come in there and talk to him about anything, and he would help people with everything. It's amazing. If you walk the streets and drop my dad's name, there are people all the way up to the day he died. He was helping with legal problems and helping them and doing it for a cup of coffee. And that's why when I found the Ko-fi.com, I said, that's a perfect honoring of him, because he would tell people, if you need help, if you have a legal question, meet me at the grind, buy me a cup of coffee, and I'll answer your questions. So, but the good news is there is stuff coming out. There is going to be coverage of his life, and that's coming down the road. And I'm excited about it, and we're gonna be talking more about that as all of that comes out and transpix. But it's like I said, you don't have to have a background like that to be sitting up here talking, because we come from all different walks. So it's interesting to me that to hear everyone's perspective, especially when we're talking on cases like this, and to help walk through the criminal justice system and what we can do here and it takes. So anyways, with that said, guys, I appreciate all of you. I appreciate everybody here who watched this trial with me. Don't worry, we'll be back soon with another one. And we're going to jump over to the one that's concluding right now. I think this is going to be another quick verdict. That's just my read on it. The Ibarra case, I don't really believe there's too much. I can't imagine there's really going to be too much doubt here on convicting that man. But we'll see. You never know. Judges can surprise us just like jurors can too. But we're going to jump over there. I'm going to end this stream. Click the link, head over, or it'll hopefully redirect you when this stream ends. But till then, guys, I'll see you in Ibarra. And until then, let justice prevail. And I'll talk to you soon.
System's rigged, man, it's time to break free. Eyes wide open, gotta see what I see. Standing on the front lines, fighting for the truth. Lift the veil of lies, it's time to be the proof. Take a stand, don't you back down. Raise your voice, let's shake the town. We're the voices that won't be ignored. Breaking chains, yeah, we're ready for war. With the power of the people, we'll make them see a world of justice, united and free. United and free. United and free. Marching with a purpose, we're taking it higher. Fighting through the struggle, igniting the fire. No more silence, we'll make the noise loud. Together in this battle, standing strong and proud. Injustice fades when courage aligns. Rise up together, break the confines. We're the voices that won't be ignored. Breaking chains, yeah, we're ready for war. With the power of the people, we'll make them see a world of justice, united and free. United and free. United a new paradigm. You paradigm, you paradigm.